Hi, this is Frida Haas with Frida's Face and Body Art, and I'm gonna do a snake today. This is a snake that I have on my board. This is a snake kid gets when they ask me for a snake. So I'm using a 3/4 inch flat brush, so fairly large, but that's because when I'm doing the snake body, I want to have volume right off the bat. You can use a 1/2 inch if you want a little bit more control. And the cake I'm going to use is Global Sea Creatures. This is the color the snake is on my board, and which means that a lot of times that's the color the kids want because they kind of get stuck with what's on the picture. So I'm going to go ahead and load this brush. I'm lighting it up so I'm getting a lot of the white and then whatever of the blue I can fit on there. Usually it ends up being some of that darkest color, which is really all I need. So get that nice and loaded. This snake, depending on the kid, sometimes usually the head sits right here. The body can curl around the ear and come out down the neck, or I'll have it come out the temple, or maybe just down here. Just kind of depends. Depends on the kid and what their bang situation is like, if they're wearing a hat or, you know how that goes. Anyway, I start right here at on the cheekbone, and I'll come down at an angle and do just kind of like a straight line. So I start with the top of that head. I want to do a little bit of a dip down, not too much, but just like a little bit of a brow. And then come out to a snout. I'll dip that down, angle my brush fairly significantly so that I'm only painting with the very tip. I'll come back, put a little bit more pressure on my brush so I get a jaw here. You can keep it to just this shape and make a snake that has its mouth closed. I like to put in a bottom jaw. And what I do is that right here, where I have that divot, I'll come in, lay down my brush, and then pivot forward, pull back, and put in a lower jaw shape. After that, it's just kind of deciding how you want that snake's body to go. And I think this is going to be a little tricky for me to paint this side of my face, but kind of like that. So if I'm especially if I'm doing an adult, an older kid, they really like this hole when it comes around the ear. Next, I'm going to give it an outline. For that, you can use your favorite outliner brush. I'm going to be using a number 1. This is a King Art brush. It is the 6000 series. It has a very nice blunt tip, which is what I like for outlining. I like it to be nice and round, but not have too much of a point. It's got a nice sort of rounded tip on the end. That's what I prefer for a brush that I outline with. So I'm gonna get some black, nice and activated. I use DFX black. And make sure I get a nice load right there. Okay, not too wet because I don't want that to bleed. I can feel that this has had a chance to dry, which is great. So the snake's eye is gonna sit right here. When you do a snake eye, you wanna do it further towards the nose and not back here, because snake eyes are very close to the tip of their face. But it's still a cartoon snake, so I don't have to worry about it too much. But right here, come in, I do that sort of S shape for the beginning of the eye. Then I come down and lay in that eye shape. Pull up a little bit and pull in a little eyebrow ridge. Then I'll come in from the top of the head, pull in a little bit of a line, outline that side of the back side of that face. This is the front of the face, and they have like a little divot. So almost like a little V, like that. And then I'll come in and pull in that jaw. Snakes have nostrils, so one nostril's right here. And another little nostril. And then for that bottom jaw, I'll do a little bit of this kind of thing to delineate that that's the inside of the mouth. You can shade that out. I usually don't really shade it out, but you certainly can, because I work fast on the job, so I don't worry about those details that I just put in right there, but you can. They are going to be happy with this snake regardless. All right, after that I will just do a few little simple shapes around here. So I'll pull it the great thing about snakes is that you don't have to be a precise line. I kind of just do this wiggly squiggly lines, but I just come in, pull in these little shapes. Coming from the belly. The back side of my ear here. And I really can't see what I'm doing back here, but that's okay. You get the idea. You can use a stencil to put in some cool texture in this guy. I usually just do it with a brush real quick. So I'll come in and I'll do almost like little leopard spots, you know, just random little dots along the snake. This is super fast, super quick and easy. Takes no time at all, but just laying in a few little, what is it called, markings on this snake. Okay, next, my next step is teeth and highlights and a tongue. And if I'm really busy, I will just do the tongue black at the same time as I'm doing my outline. But I'll do it in a color this time, and I'll ask the kid kind of like, what color do you want your tongue to be? Do you want it poison green or, you know, blood red or something like that? You know, sometimes I try to push them to get a different color for their tongue, because otherwise I think they just default to red, and I think it's kind of fun to give the teeth a different color. I mean, the tongue a different color. All right, I do fangs. Just right here, I pull down some fangs. I use, this is a number 3 Luxe Swirl Brush, which has a really nice fine tip. You can get really tight. And then technically, I don't think that snakes have fangs on the bottom, but I like putting them in, so I do. 2 little ones on the bottom too. This makes it look cool. I'll put some color in that eye. A few little highlights here and there. And then along the snake's body, I give it sort of just a bit of a squiggly highlight like this. And it just makes this snake look like it's shiny. The last step of that is giving it a tongue. And I don't have that many colors choices here, so I just have a couple of colors in front of me. Didn't think about the tongue when I decided to paint this guy, so I have some orangey brown, but I think that will look good. So the tongue of a snake comes from the bottom jaw. So I'll come in here, I'll go between those teeth and give it a tongue. And ideally, if you give it an orange tongue, maybe you've used orange somewhere else too. But I'm not going to be that finicky with this tutorial right here. So that is how I paint a snake on the job. I sure hope you found it helpful. Thank you. Bye.